All right.
Do you just want me to?
Yeah.
Are you going to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
And then you, and then so. All right. You see all of us? Or?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, August 8th is an important day in American history. 3 years ago, Justice Sonia Sotomayor was sworn into the United States Supreme Court, making her the first Hispanic justice on the court in our history. She was the first justice appointed by President Obama to the bench. Amid this grueling presidential campaign, it's fitting that we ask what kind of nominees each of the candidates for president would have over the next 4 years. Because throughout our history, the court has been the last best hope for the disadvantaged and the disenfranchised. In the words of Mitt Romney, as many as half of the seats on the U.S. Supreme Court could be filled by the next president. Mitt Romney has brought on a campaign advisor on judicial nominations by the name of Robert Bork. Judge Bork would assist Mitt Romney in picking justices for the U.S. Supreme Court should Mitt Romney become president. His record was so far out of the mainstream that in the 1980s, he was rejected by a broad bipartisan coalition when he was nominated for the Supreme Court. Yet Mitt Romney said, and I quote, "I wish he were already on the court."
Hello, I'm Kelly Copeland with NARAL Pro-Choice Ohio. And truly, one of the most serious threats to women's reproductive health care is the prospect of Mitt Romney being president, in which he would have the power to appoint the next justices to the Supreme Court. As we said throughout the campaign, Romney has made it clear that he would appoint justices who would overturn Roe v. Wade and roll back an entire generation of progress for women. Romney also said he supports allowing employers to deny birth control coverage, simply because the employer's personal beliefs. That's his philosophy towards women and our reproductive health. And that's the very same philosophy with which he would select Supreme Court justices.
I'm Mike Gillis. I'm Communications Director with the AFL-CIO here in Ohio. Throughout his career and during this campaign, Mitt Romney has made clear that he would put the needs of big corporations ahead of the needs of everyday working Americans. And the justices he would select would do the same. His philosophy on the balance between the rights of corporations and the rights of workers was best summed up in 5 words he said in Iowa at the beginning of this campaign. He said, quote, "Corporations are people, my friend." We've seen our share of debates about elections and voting rights here in Ohio over the last 2 years. There's a case pending in the courts about whether the state can deprive working people of opportunities to vote early. And there are cases pending throughout the country in states that have sought to suppress the vote. These cases will make their way ultimately to the U.S. Supreme Court. Where would Mitt Romney's Supreme Court appointees fall on issues of voting rights? Well, let's look at the evidence. We already know that Governor Romney is lying about voter suppression tactics here in Ohio, as the Plain Dealer pointed out earlier this week. We also know that Mitt Romney's judicial advisor, Robert Bork, defended poll taxes and literacy tests, and he called the Civil Rights Act of 1964, quote, "unsurpassed ugliness." This is the guy that Mitt Romney said he wishes were already on the Supreme Court. And what about the issue of women in the workplace? The AFL-CIO was proud to fight for the passage of the Lilly Ledbetter Act, which made it easier for women to seek remedies over pay discrimination in the workplace. In the coming years, it is likely that the Supreme Court will review this act. Who do you think will appoint justices who will stand up for working women? And who do you think will appoint justices who will stand up for the corporations that discriminate against them?
Well, given how critical the issue of the Supreme Court is in this presidential election, People for the American Way, of which I am the Ohio coordinator, and partner organizations will be teaming up to engage in an effort on multiple fronts to inform voters of the important choices in this election and how dangerous a Romney court would be. At romneycourt.com, voters can find out more about the issues that we've raised today. The prospect of Governor Romney appointing a Supreme Court is nothing less than dangerous for minority rights, workers' rights, women's rights, voting rights, and a long list of progress that has been made over the course of generations. We will make sure that voters understand this when they go to the polls in November. Thank you.
What are they going to find on RomneyCourt.com? And how do you have it formatted?
They're going to find out a lot about Robert Bork. They may not have known what we've mentioned today, as well as additional information. There's a video of Romney introducing Judge Bork as a member of his campaign team, saying that he wishes that Judge Bork were already on the court, and that website will be updated throughout the course of the campaign.
You've mentioned a bunch of issues that are already pretty polarizing. I mean, you're either in one camp or the other. It's not a lot of people, it seems like, are in the middle. Mm-hmm. I mean, is this, what do you accomplish by doing this?
Mm-hmm. Well, we certainly engage our base, but beyond our base, I think that the issue of birth control coverage, for instance, is not a polarizing issue by any means. I think the issue of women in the workplace and being able to seek remedies for pay discrimination is not something that's very polarizing. So these are issues that are very serious, that appeal to a broad electorate, and